In today's lesson, we're going to look at graphing equations that are in slope-intercept form. If you remember, slope-intercept form is an equation of the form y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So when we look at this equation A over here, y equals negative 2x plus 4, it is exactly in slope-intercept form, so I can identify my m and b right away. M is the number that's attached to the x, in this case it's a negative 2, and b is the constant or the standalone number, in this case b value is 4. So once we've identified m and b, now our job is to graph this equation using that information. Now b is known as the y-intercept. That's the place at which the graph is going to cross the y-axis. Since the b value is 4, that means that I can go up 4 here in a positive 4 direction and put a dot. The graph of this equation is going to pass through or intercept the y-axis at this location. That's what a b value of 4 or a y-intercept of 4 means, that the graph is going to intercept the y-axis there. To get to the second point, I'm going to use slope. And the slope of this line is negative 2. If we use an alternate definition of slope, slope is rise over run, and I turn negative 2 into a fraction, negative 2 over 1, I can see that the rise of this line is 2 and that its run is 1. Now I purposely left off the negative sign on here because I think it's easier to deal with that on a separate issue. Remember from one of our previous lessons that we read all these lines from left to right, just like a book. We read them from left to right. And if I have to climb the hill when I read it from left to right, that's a line that has a positive slope. Climbing the hill is positive. And if I have to ski down the hill, that's a line that has negative slope. So when I come back up here, I always will say that the rise is 2 and that its run is 1, even when it's negative, because it's easier to deal right here. And I'll show you how. Alright, so we go back to our y-intercept of 4 that we had previously, and now it's time to use slope to get to the second point. From our definition over here, rise is 2 and our run is 1, so I'm going to rise 2, and now I have to think about which way do I need to run. If I run to the left, I end up with a negative slope line. Is that what I want? Then I put the point there. If I had ran to the right, then I would end up with a positive slope line, which is something I don't want. So, do your rise and then figure out which way you need to run depending on positive or negative. I can do a third point by rising 2 down and running. This time I'll have to run to the right to make a negative slope. And then I can just draw in that line. There's our first one. I'll switch colors here and we'll go to our second equation. Our second equation, y equals 3/4 x minus 3. Let's identify m and b. M is the number that's attached to the x, which is 3/4. And b is the standalone number, but I do have to be careful on this one because I have a minus 3, and in the form it should be a plus b. So let's make sure we add the opposite on this one, and then we figure out that our b value is actually negative 3 in this. Identifying our m and b is only half the battle. Now we have to go graph it. We start off using the y-intercept. The y-intercept is going to be at negative 3. So I can put a point down here at negative 3 or 3 down. And now I'm going to use the slope to get to the second point. Please remember that 3/4 is the slope. It's rise over run. So I'm going to rise 3 and run 4. So I start off at the y-intercept again and rise 3. 1, 2, 3. And now I have to run 4. But which direction do I have to run? That's right. We have to go to the right 4. Because running to the right would lead me to this positive slope line. If I go down 3 units, rise 3 down, now I have to go to the left 4. And now that I've got several points, I can go ahead and draw in the line. Nice straight edge would probably help. And that's how we graph using slope-intercept form.